these problem and measuring. We didn't get to do congruent. Okay, number 2, do only, I'll go over the rest, just do D and E, so identify congruent angles. So we know that, we'll look at angle R, it's a reflection over the x-axis. Identify the transformation used to create triangle ZQV. Okay, that's a reflection. On the test, you'll have something like this. Okay, this is a test question. Reflection over the x-axis. Okay. Does the transformation preserve the shape and size of the triangle? Yes. They're congruent. We call that they are congruent. Basically, the shape stays the same. Okay, I'll go over C in class. Identify the congruent angles. Okay, let's look at the angles. Let's go to angle R. Okay, that is, it does go G, angle GRT. R is in the middle, we're talking GRT, or TRG, whichever way you look at it, is congruent to, congruent sign, make sure it's the equal with a squiggly like this, congruent to angle, talking about Q. So we started with G, and G corresponds to V. So V, Q, Z. Okay, they're congruent. Okay, let's talk about angle G and V then. G and V, angle V. Okay, if G, we start with R, angle G. We'll start with R, and then G is in the middle, and then T it's in, congruent to angle. Okay, we went from R, so R corresponds to Q, so you have to say Q, V, and then Z, like that. We're talking about V and G right there. Okay, that's how we do that one. And then the last one is angle T. T is going to be in the middle, so be careful which one you start with. We'll start with G, angle G, T, R is congruent to angle. Okay, what corresponds to G is V. Angle V corresponds to T is Z. Z, angle V, T, Z, and R, which is Q. That's how you write that. So you have to be very careful. Oops, this goes to D, sorry, not C, erase from C. I'm going to copy here before I erase because I'll get it wrong. Angle GRT is congruent to angle VQZ. Angle RGT is congruent to angle QVZ. And the last one is angle GTR is congruent to, make sure you write the congruent symbol and a little wave, okay? Angle, oops, red. VZQ. Alright, and that's how you write those. Make sure I write corresponding letters. That means letters that sit in the same position, okay? Congruent sides, okay? I'm going to say VZ. That side, VZ, is congruent to, I started out V first, so I need to start out with G first, to R, Oh no, 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 no. G to T. Right there. G to T. Sides. Congruent. If you write the equal sign, you'll get a 2 instead of a 4. You need to write a congruent sign. And then the other side is, let's say, G to R. Side G, line segment GR is congruent to line segment VQ. Okay, and then the last side, the green one, let's say T to R. T to R is congruent to Z to Q. Like that. All right, and then number 3, just do A, identify the transformation using, you know what, I'm going to go over these with you because some of you may have a hard time with this. So I'll do the transformation one in class because you may have a very difficult time. Just do D and E here. Identify the corresponding angles using congruent symbol. Corresponding angles, congruent symbols. Okay, let's see. Well, this is easy. T to U is congruent to, T to U is congruent to T prime, U prime. Oh, we're using angles. We're doing sides. Okay, angle. Let's say angle T and angle T. Okay, UTV is congruent to U prime, T prime, and V prime. Congruent, not an equal sign. Make sure you put a little squiggly on top. And as we're talking about angles, put angles. Otherwise, it's a 2 or a 1 on your test. It's an angle. You identify its angle. Angle. Okay, do that first. Then, if you tend to forget, I go afterwards. But let's talk about angle V. Okay. Need an angle V. So T V U is congruent to angle TVU is congruent to, oh, they just use prime, right? T prime, V prime, and U prime. In the exact same order makes it easy. Yep. And then the last one is angle U. So U goes in the middle. So if I say T angle TUV is congruent to angle T prime, U prime, and V prime. Easy. Corresponding, identify corresponding side using congruent symbols. Okay. Corresponding sides. Okay. T to V, T prime, V prime is congruent to T to U prime. Oh, T to U. Ah, okay, we'll do this first then. Okay, and line segment. T to V is congruent to T prime, V prime. And then the last one is V to U. Line segment is congruent to V prime, U prime. Easy, right? So you do that to all of these. Same thing. Identify congruent angles. Okay. Let's go angle F. Angle DFE is congruent to, okay, oh, that's easy. There, just F prime. My goodness. Right here. Looks like a rotation. Okay, E in the middle, F in the middle. Okay, so we just angle D prime in the same order. F prime. Hello. E prime.
She said that she dropped her from iExcel already too.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have her
Yeah, I guess she switched classes.
today.
I think so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then you do that for the rest. And the same thing here. Make sure when you do for the rest of the variables, angles, make sure you put angles. And then line segment. Identify you need to do 2 more, okay? There's 3 angles and there are 3 sides, so make sure you do angle EF. Identify side EF is congruent to E prime and F prime, like that side. Okay, and then same thing with DE is congruent to D prime, E prime, line segment, side, okay? And then, and finish the rest, the last side. There's one more side, okay, you finish that last side. All right, number 5. Same thing, corresponding congruent. Do that on your own. Self-explanatory, just like the other ones, especially when they're using the same variable and just the prime. Forgot to change it on yours. Okay, let's solve for P here. Solve for P. This is a plus, so we need to make 0. Not to P, leave it alone. Make 0 to the other one, HY minus HY, okay? That's 0, 0 plus P is P equals to W minus HY. They're not alike, and that's your answer. Easy, right? Okay, find Y. Here's a plus here. Here's the Y. Leave that alone. Make the other one 0 first. Minus P minus P. So that's a positive HY equals to W minus P. Okay, well, this is, Y is not by itself yet, so you can't stop. This is time, so you have to divide by H. Divide by H to all of them. Y equals 2. You can't solve W over H minus P over H. Another way they write this is W minus P all over H, like that. Both of them gets an H. That's a shorter version. You'll see that a lot. Okay? That means H goes on both of them. Find M. Well, M, want to isolate M, you need to get rid of this P. Well, least common denominator is P. So times it by P. Okay, another way you can do this is, besides that, is you go, okay, I need to make 0 first. I add W, right? You can do that. Not add P, add W. That's 0, so you get M over P equals to Z plus W. Okay, then you have to multiply by P to get rid of the P, because this is divide, times this all by P. Okay, and you get M equals to PZ plus WP. Same thing as if you did it the other way, multiply and then divide, okay? So here, same. You want to solve for K, okay? You need to make, you leave that alone. You need to make the other one equal to 0, so you minus 3 over 2, minus 3 over 2. K equals, okay, this is 1 1/2. 3 over 2 is the same thing as 1 1/2. I'm going to change that to 1 1/2. 3 divide, and then you change this to 4 1/2. You get 4, 2 over 2. You get 3 1/2. Another way to do this is k is equal to 3 1/2, right? Another way to do this, if you have minus 3 over 2, is least common denominator here is 2 times 2 times 2. You get 10 over 2 minus the 3 over 2. You get 7 1/2 or 3 1/2. Both the same answer, right? Okay. Solve for A. It's a lot easier with letters, okay? You want A, so this make the other one equal to 0 minus P over R minus P over R. There's no letter for us to solve. No number. So you just put A equals to V minus P over R. And you can stop here because there's no number for P, R, or V. And like this one, okay, solve for R here. Okay, these are times, okay. So you're going to have to divide. Let's first divide by 2. You get pi times R equals to C over 2. And then you have to divide again by pi. Divide by pi again. R equals to C over 2 pi. Just leave it 2 pi. Okay. Like that. Here, solve for L. It's a plus, so you need to make 0 first. See, notice we didn't make 0 to here because there's no plus sign. Here, there's a plus sign, you need to make 0. Leave this alone because it's L, so you minus 2W. 2L equals to P minus 2W. To solve for L, this is times, so you divide by 2 to all of them. L equals P over 2. We can't solve that. Okay, this equals to 1 minus 1 times W. It's just W. And that's your answer right there. It says to solve for W. Okay, that's times. So it says solve for W. It's a plus, so leave this one alone. Make that equal to 0, 2L. 2W equals to P minus 2L. And then you divide last by 2. W equals to P over 2 minus, that's 1. 1 times L is L. And that's your answer. You got W by itself. Okay? If you have questions, make sure you ask.